All right. So I appreciate Tom giving me the opportunity to speak to you guys today. Like he said, I'm honestly really not that different from you guys at all. I've been going to these seminars the last 5 years. I got my ass handed to me in my business pretty early, like some of you guys probably have as well. I still remember the first year or two we were open, having to pull out money out of my personal account, deposit it into the business account just so we could pay rent and make sure everything was gonna clear. So I've been in all your guys' positions before. My first job out of college was training, just like you guys. I was at a corporate gym in Seattle working for a gym that basically did all the training for Microsoft. And I didn't even have any aspirations to own my own gym at all. I was in a good position, I was making good money. I thought I was just gonna be training forever. And then I actually got fired from that job. So that was a rude awakening. I honestly didn't, it took me a while to really share that story of getting fired because there's a lot of emotion that comes with that. And for me, it was, I just gotten married, so I kind of felt like I was letting my family down. It was embarrassing, you know, the lack of self-worth, all that kind of stuff. So I went through all those emotions. And then once the dust settled, I kind of realized it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It forced me to really reevaluate my career, figure out what I wanted to do, and then it ended up leading to me opening up the gyms that I own today. So the first lesson I had to learn is to be the dumbest person in the room. So as cliche as that sounds, that has been a big part of my career and my growth in my gyms and just my overall life, is being able to surround myself with mentors that have been there and done that. I've been very lucky that I've been able to connect with guys like Tom and Frank and those kind of guys who have really helped me through my career. And I'm a big advocate of, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. These guys have been there and done that. They're going to share with you how they got to where they are. So I don't think you need to be stubborn and reinvent the wheel. A lot of guys that I consult for and mentor with now, one of the hardest things for them is being able to change. And like Frank said yesterday, a lot of times these guys are like, oh, they have every excuse in the book. This doesn't work in my market, or we've been doing this way and it works. So a lot of times you just really have to buy into the fact that you're going to have to tear down your business. You're going to have to change stuff, and you're going to have to follow the path of these mentors and surround yourself with the right kind of people in order to succeed. This is Tom's favorite saying. I'm sure you guys have heard him say this a lot. Write that shit down. But seriously, write all the stuff that he's saying down. One of the biggest changes in my career and how I was able to grow is really sitting down with Tom and actually putting together like a full game plan, you know, top to bottom of how I'm going to be able to grow my business and get it to do the numbers that I want to do. And I think one of the biggest things that young coaches make especially is you go to all these seminars, it's great, you get all this knowledge, but then you really don't change anything. You gather it all, but you're afraid to actually make changes and tear down your business and really make the changes you need to do to be able to grow. So what I would challenge you guys to do is, even if it's just one or two things, pick one or two things you learned from the seminar today, and Monday morning start working on it right away. Go to the changes that you need to make. But don't get caught in the habit of going to these different seminars, gathering all this knowledge, but not doing anything with it, right? So my main talk today that I'm going to talk to you guys about is, in my opinion, what are the 5 things that you can do and you can measure to create a financially successful training gym. And like Tom said, a lot of this stuff is going to be a little bit repeated of the stuff that he went over today. But like I said, I've been working with him the last 5 years, and so a lot of the stuff, a lot of the philosophies I use are stuff that I've learned from him. But I want to go over those 5 steps with you guys today. And what I really want you guys to get out of it is just challenge yourselves as we go through these 5 steps to really think about what are the 1, 2, 3 things out of these 5 steps that my business is really struggling with, what's inhibiting me from growing, and then being able to develop a game plan to fix those steps. So how do we measure those steps? We'll go over all the KPIs and numbers. I'm a huge numbers guy, kind of like Tom. So we have a big vinyl board in our office that my staff and I go through every day. We track our leads for the day, we track our trials for the day, we track our total deposits for the day. And then, like he said, we react and make decisions off those numbers. For a while, I would just look at my numbers every month, and that was okay. I was still growing that way a little bit. But the change that really helped me is going over that stuff daily and seeing those numbers every day and then reacting to those. And then, kind of like Frank was talking about yesterday, you guys have to be able to work on the business, not in the business. So I only train about 5 hours a week now, and what I do is first 2 or 3 hours of my morning is really looking at these 5 things and just figuring out where the issue's at, where the hole's at, and then from there I'm working for 2 or 3 hours on solving those. If we have a lead problem, like he said, I'm emailing everybody, I'm making calls, I'm doing what I got to do to get the leads in the door. If we have a sales problem, either we're maybe doing something different with our sales staff, different training, or maybe have to find different staff for that. Retention, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to go through those things and how we measure them. But what I want you guys to get out of it again is really just trying to focus on at least the 1 or 2 things out of these 5 steps that you guys feel like you can improve and start with a game plan to improve those on Monday morning. So the first thing is lead acquisition. So marketing is definitely 100% the biggest thing, most beneficial thing I've learned in our gym. Probably like 70 to 80% of what I do during the week now is marketing and lead acquisition. That's by far the biggest thing that's allowed my business to grow. Learning from guys like Frank, like Colin, like Tom, and just being able to generate leads in the door. So my goal with the gym I own in Seattle, I own another gym in Montana, other guys I consult with, is just trying to get 30 leads a month. So 1 lead a day. It's pretty simple. I know Tom's goal is probably a little bit higher than that, but for us in general, it's trying to get 1 lead a day, 30 leads a month, right? And for us, everybody's a little different, but the percentage that it's breaking down for us with those 30 leads is usually about 75% of those from us come from social media, and about 25% come from referrals. But those are really only our 2. We get walk-ins, we're in a retail place, so sometimes we get walk-ins, people calling in, but for the most part, of those 30 leads, like I said, about 75% are coming from social media, and about 25% are coming from referrals. And that's one of the big numbers we track on that number board every day. Are we getting at least 1 a day? Are we getting 30 leads for the month? And I know Tom's going to go a lot more in depth today on the marketing, but I'm just going to touch base a tiny bit on what we do here for our marketing and lead acquisition. The biggest and most beneficial thing for me in lead acquisition and our social media is developing a game plan and having a plan for every day of the week of what we're going to post. If you wake up in the morning and you're trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to post today? It becomes very hard. You have to have kind of a theme and have an idea of what you're going to post each day. So we post 6 days a week. I'll give you guys just a quick rundown of like what our normal posting schedule looks like. Monday, what we're doing is called our People of KE. It's just a 1-minute testimonial. It's 4 questions we're asking people that we edit. We got video of them, just it looks a lot like Colin's, videos of them working out in the gym, and we're posting that every Monday, different member each time. Everything that we do posting-wise and boosting-wise, we keep it pretty simple. We just boost everything to a 10-mile radius within our gym. Probably 90% of our posts we're boosting for $10 a day, 7 days a week, so we spend about $70 on each post. And if we're doing 6 of these a week, 1 every day, we always have 6 different kind of ads or 6 different kind of posts going at any time. Plus we usually have our evergreen ad, which is just like an ad for our 30-day trial, and then we may have 1 more ad going for like a 21-day shred or like a 6-week program, something like that. So in general, we'll usually have 8 different things going on. So back to the schedule here. Monday, like I said, we post our People of KE, just a 1-minute. The reason we do 1 minute so it can fit on Instagram as well, and that's just going to be a video testimonial. What we do Tuesday is a recipe post, so I have my operations manager just do a real quick recipe, just a blog post that lives on our website, easy recipe. The weird thing about these, like they're super simple, but for some reason we get the most hits off of those. The recipe stuff's been really popular for us. I don't really know why. And honestly, typically we usually just boost those to women within the 10 mile. Not that guys don't cook or can't cook, but for most part, the women are the ones that are clicking on those posts for us, so we will boost that again. $10 a day, 7 days, and that will live on our website under our blog. Wednesday, I'm a big proponent of, I like to get my coaches on video so that people can see our coaches talking and establishing themselves as experts in the area. So we will do a fit tip every Wednesday. It's got to be under a minute, again, so that it can fit on Instagram. It's just them giving something super simple. It can be on exercise, it can be on nutrition, whatever it is. They're just going to give a 60-second fit tip. We're going to have a call to action with that is going to link back to our website. And on our website, we have all these still testimonials, which I'll talk about here in a sec. And under each testimonial, it has a call to action for our 15-day trial. So we're trying to sell them on our 15-day trial indirectly. But once they click on that video, watch it, at the end of that, it's going to take them to our website for the 15-day trial. Thursday, we do a still testimonial. We call it our People of KE. These live on our website. Just a picture of our client with the 4 or 5 questions we ask them. It's just a written still testimonial. Again, we boost it the same way. If it's a male client, we boost it to males within that 10-mile radius. Female client, we boost it to females in the 10-mile radius. And again, that just lives on our website. Pretty straightforward. And then what we do on Saturday is we do our charity work. So we have a charity workout every Saturday. We usually like splice together a video of it. And then we tag the charity in it so people see the charity, see the one we're working with. And then the other one I forgot is Friday there. So Friday's the only one that's a little different for us. It can change. We have a thing called KE on the map where our clients will take a picture with our KE shirt somewhere, wherever they go on vacation, and we'll post that. Really all we're trying to do with the Friday stuff is just show people our members, show people that are having fun, and just kind of get our members involved in that side of things. So that's kind of how our posting plan works. But like I said, the biggest thing you can learn, the most beneficial thing you can learn in your business hands down is going to be the marketing and lead acquisition. So next we go into sales. So step number 2 is sales. This one we won't go super in depth to because Tom's covered it quite a bit in depth. But for us, of those 30 leads we're getting every month, we need to get 20 of those onto trials. And then from those 20 trials, we should be able to, for us, it's always been, and all the guys I work with, it's always been about 60%. So if we have 20 of those trials, we're going to convert 12 of those to a regular membership. The only thing I'll say with that is we've gone kind of back and forth between a 15 and a 30-day trial, and we have noticed that, you know, with the 15-day and the 21-day shred type stuff, the shorter duration ones, we do only convert about 50% of those, and with the longer duration ones, the 30-day ones, we convert about 70%. So if you average them out, for us, our average trial conversion is about 60%. So again, if we break the numbers down, we have 30 leads, 20 of those go to our trial program, and of the 20 that go to trial, 12 of those convert into a regular membership, which is that 60% number. And for us, the other thing with sales is every sale we're trying to make our average EFT. Right now in Seattle it's $320, but we're trying to shoot for around the $300 per person mark for the average EFT. Third step, defining your demographic. You know, we won't spend a ton of time on this one because this is another thing that Tom hammered a lot out yesterday. But the thing with us defining the demographic, it's got to be something that's defensible. Like you talked about, we've found that the team training is not very defensible as well. So for us, 90% of our people are doing the small group semi-private training, so that's really what we're trying to focus on. And like Tom said yesterday, it's really just a matter of figuring out what your ideal client is, what's your target market, and just reverse engineering the product from there. So if I'm trying to attract people that can spend $300 a month in our small group setting, I'm obviously, those are the people that I'm thinking about when we're doing our marketing, when we're doing all that kind of stuff. Those are the people we're trying to attract into our gym. For us, it's typically going to be 1 of 2 clients. We're in a very tech-heavy area, so it's going to be like the 40 to 60-year-old corporate style of client, sits at a desk all day, or it's going to be their wife or spouse that's the, you know, again, 40 to 45, 50-year-old, maybe stay-at-home mom, has kids, that kind of stuff. So it's pretty easy from there. You just reverse engineer it, define a demographic, and then that's how you control your marketing as well and who you're marketing to and trying to get into your doors so that you can get the people that can afford those memberships and hit that high average EFT. So the next thing we're going to talk about, the 4th step, is programming. And we won't go crazy in depth this, but I wanted to show you guys what one of our templates look like. So if you guys want to make it really simple, you can just use the Alloy app. Claire's been trying to get me on that for like 8 months, but we haven't got on it yet. We have our own way of doing it, which is probably way more complicated and way more time consuming, but this is what our normal templates look like for our small group training. We have a different workout for every day of the week. So we have one for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through Saturday. So we have 6 different templates going on. The way that we change it so our clients aren't always doing the same thing is we have basically 6 different variations of our core, 6 of the power, 6 of the strength, 6 of our carries, and 6 of our finishers. And what we do from there is at the end of the week, we just do a random number generator, and then that's how we form the templates for the next week. So let's say the number generator comes up on number 2 core, number 4 power, number 5 strength, number 3 carry, number 2 metabolic, whatever. That's our template for Monday. Then we do the same thing, number generate for the next day. That's our template for Tuesday. So the templates always look different. The workouts always look different for our clients, but essentially it's just 6 different sets of exercises for each box that we just randomly generate each week for our templates. We print the templates out the week before. Our clients come in, our trainers, come in Monday morning. They have the Monday template. They know what they're doing with everybody. And then we just have a simple note card for each client that has their injury history, their goals, all that kind of stuff, so that our coaches can adapt the template to the client. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is retention. And retention's always kind of a funny one for me, because I think Frank said this yesterday too. Like, every gym owner I talk to and everybody I consult with always seems to have like awesome retention, and everybody stays at their gym and it's great, which to me is like not the case at all. For us, like, our retention's good, but it's something that we constantly have to work at. Like, for me, it's impressive that people can just say their retention's great, they don't have to work at it, everybody stays, but that's not been the case for us. Like, retention is something that we have to work on a daily basis for sure. So I want to touch base on a little bit of that with you guys, and just the KPIs and stuff that we look at for that. So for us, we're always looking at 3% attrition for our retention every month. So if I have 100 members, I'm going to lose on average 3 a month. People move, stuff happens. You know, you can always build in some type of attrition. For us, what we've found consistent at the gyms I own, the guys that I work with and consult with, it's been about 3% a month. So like I said, if I have 100 clients, I can plan to lose about 3 a month. That's going to be pretty good for us, pretty good average retention, average attrition. I don't like putting a lot of text on my slide, but I wanted to show you guys this just because this is something that's been very beneficial for us. These are just kind of 6 tips that we use to help drive our retention. This is something we're always focusing on. So we send a fit tip email to our members every Monday. We just do that on Constant Contact. And for me, like, I'm a very organized person, so I will write out those fit tip emails a quarter at a time and just schedule them to send in Constant Contact. So for December, I will do all of our emails for January, February, March, set them to send every Monday at 4 p.m. Kind of a random time. I got that from Tom, but that's one of the best open rates you'll get is the Monday afternoon. Don't send it Monday morning. People don't like to check their emails and respond to stuff early Monday morning, but Monday afternoon seems to be a good time for us to send those. And then along with those fit tip emails, we will sprinkle in recipes, client success stories. And honestly, this stuff, you're just recycling all your content that you're putting on your Facebook and social media stuff. So I told you guys we have that 6-day-a-week plan. All we're doing in these emails is sending out those same fit tips, those same recipes, those same exercise articles, all that kind of stuff, and just recycling our same content via email. And we usually don't send it out the same week. So if I did a recipe post, that will probably be something I'll email out like 3 or 4 weeks later, just so then that post again lives longer and people see it via email as well. So we'll do that. We'll sprinkle in the recipes, success stories. This is something we got from Colin, obviously, a long time ago, is just having a closed group, Facebook group for our members. Because the nice thing with that, I'm sure all you guys know this, but the nice thing with that is it's not going to limit the amount of people. If you have a closed group, everybody in the closed group sees that post, versus if you just have a regular Facebook post on your page, probably only about 3% of people are actually going to see that post. So the closed group is huge. That's been something that's been really big for us as far as member engagement and retention. We post in that consistently 3 times a week, and what we're posting is special offers, like invitation to cool events we have going on. We'll repost some of our fit tips in there. We'll repost some of our recipes in there. We always post client birthdays. So I have my operation manager give a little shout out on people's birthdays that we posted in there. Something we've been toying with in there as well that's kind of worked is having a picture usually of them working out, but introducing new members. So every time somebody signs up for a new 12-month agreement, we'll put a picture of them in the members group and just give them a little shout out, tell our members, say, hey, welcome these guys to the family, that type of stuff. That seems to work really well for us. We've just recently gotten into the texting, so I use the app Scipio. I'm sure a lot of you guys use that one, or different apps, but we will text kind of motivational stuff, especially if we notice that somebody's fallen off their routine. So something that's been different for us at the bottom here with these low usage patterns that I've kind of changed and learned from Tom is we used to always run our less than 8 report, and if people weren't coming in 8 times a month, they automatically got this email that said, hey, we saw you weren't in. That didn't work as well for us because I ended up calling people out, and a lot of times just reminding people like, oh yeah, I haven't been in for like 2 months, let me just cancel my membership. So that doesn't work great if you want to have good retention and stuff. So what we did that's a little bit different is we try to catch it a little bit earlier, and just every couple of weeks, myself and the coach are just looking at usage patterns. And some of our clients, like especially our golfers and stuff, they only come in 5 times a month anyways. That's fine. They want to come in once a week, they're golfing the rest of the week, no big deal. I don't need to remind them every month that they didn't come in 8 times. So what we're doing is just if they only came in maybe 2 times and they were off that normal pattern of 5 times, then I might shoot them a text, just check in and say, hey, you know, can we set up a time to meet, come in here, let's chat, let's figure out, get you guys back on track, that kind of stuff. So it's not necessarily that less than 8 report anymore. For us, it's just anybody that's off their kind of normal usage pattern. We'll send a text, we'll send a quick call, we'll try to get them back in the door, right? And then for us, MyZone, everyone gets a MyZone. That's been a huge retention tool for us as well. So we haven't quite set it up like Frank and some of those guys do in the trial where they get it, because it's just been a little messy for us to try to give them during the trial. But everybody that signs up for a 12-month membership, we give them a MyZone and try to get them on board with that right away. So this 3,000, this for us, myself and any of the guys that I'm working with and kind of mentoring, I want to see on average a net growth of $3,000 a month, which seems like a lot, but it's very doable if you break down the numbers from it. So we go back to the numbers we were talking about before. If I have 30 of those leads, I get 20 of them on trial, I have 12 new signups to that. Our average EFT is $300, so that would give me $3,600 a month in sales. If my retention's good, I lose 2 people a month. That's going to give me $600 that I lost. That's where we get that net of 3,000. So every month our goal is to grow by $3,000, is to get 12 sign up, and it's to hopefully only lose about 2 clients. Some months it's a little bit more than that, right? But in general, this is our goal every month, is to try to net and grow by $3,000 a month with those 12 signups, and again with only losing about 2 people, which would net a $600 loss and then $3,600 in new signups. So that's where we get the $3,000 net. And really what we're trying to get across with this, and what I want you guys to wrap your mind around, is just where do we have to start? If I'm not getting those 30 leads, okay, then I probably have a marketing problem. So that's where I need to figure out. And I know Tom was hammering that point home earlier, but you know, I can't say it enough. You got to figure out where the hole is and where you're not. If you're not growing by close to this amount, or whatever your goals are, like Tom said, set a monthly goal. Maybe it's 5% growth, whatever it is. If you're not hitting that goal, why are you not hitting that goal? What's the issue? You know, of these 5 steps, where am I lacking from? So again, if I'm not hitting those 30 leads, do I have a marketing problem? If I'm not converting 60% of my trials, do I have a sales problem? Programming, most of you guys are probably fine on that. But from the retention side, I think if I'm losing a lot more than, if I'm losing like 7 to 10% of my membership a month versus that 3%, then I probably have a retention problem. So it's just looking at the whole picture and honestly just trying to dumb it down and keep it as simple as possible. Look at all those KPIs, look at those numbers, and then just be a problem solver from there and figure out where do I need to spend my time today, what area do I need to fix, and then go from there, right? Well, I just want to share this with you guys too, just some productivity tools. So us as small business owners, there's 1,000 things to do every day, and like Tom always says, like, are you really busy, or are you doing stuff that's actually, you know, generating revenue for the business, actually productive? So for me, Eat That Frog was like a huge book for me to be able to organize kind of my day-to-day stuff. So for me, I'm big on setting yearly goals, breaking those down into monthly goals, breaking those down into weekly goals. And that Eat That Frog book, it has a great just kind of template to use to be able to do that. And then on a daily basis, for me, the 5-minute journal has been huge. And I've honestly written in the 5-minute journal for me every day, probably for the last like 5 or 6 years, which is a little weird, but for me, it helps. Like, the biggest thing for me, the 2 things with the 5-minute journal that I really like about it, and they have an app you can do too if you don't want to write it out, is it gets me in the mindset of gratitude. I'm big on having a good mindset throughout the day, and what it forces you to do, it just has you list in the morning, what are 3 things you're grateful for? And for me, it just gets me in the right mindset, gets me ready to attack the day, and just gets my energy good. And again, it's all about mindset for me. And then the other thing about it is it really helps you plan out your day. Like I said, you can't just be getting up and trying to figure out what your day is going to look like. You have to have a plan to attack that day. And what the 5-minute journal does is it has you list what are the 3 biggest things I have to get done. Sometimes it's more, maybe you have 5 things, sometimes maybe you only have 1, whatever it is, but it really focuses you on that day. And for me, like, I'm not going to bed, I'm not ending my day until I get those 3 things done. So for me, it just really focuses in on my plan for that day and what are the 3 big things that I really have to get done today and really have to focus on. So everybody's different with productivity and how they do it, but I just wanted to share a couple things with you guys that really helped for me. And one was that book, and the second thing is just doing that 5-minute journal on a daily basis. So this is my gym. Our operations manager, Lauren's gonna give these guys to you later on a flash drive. I'm gonna share with you guys what our operations manual looks like. It's about 60 pages. It took myself and my operations manager probably like 3 months just grinding out every day, like writing literally all the shit we do on a daily basis, and then finally turning it into a manual. And Tom was trying to get me to do ours probably for like 2 or 3 years, and I literally just finished it like 6 months ago, so it took me a long time to actually do it, but it's been huge. It's been by far one of the most beneficial things in our business. It's literally just a manual of top to bottom, everything we do within the business. It's how we train our staff off of stuff. If I ever want to go to sell the business, which I obviously do, everything that we do in the business, how we operate, our marketing, our sales, our staff training, how we turn on the lights in the morning, everything is in that manual, and that's how we train people off of. So I'm gonna give that manual to you guys today. It's gonna be on a flash drive. If you guys don't have a manual, you can copy that one. I don't care. Use it, utilize it, at least use it as a template if you guys a place to start. But I'd highly recommend that everybody develop some type of operations manual for your business, because it's just gonna be something that you're gonna need to have eventually. And the big thing when Tom had me do ours is because we're about to open up a second location here. And so he wanted to have me be able to manage the business like we were going to open 10 of these. And I think that's very important for everybody. Even if you only have one location, you should still be able to operate your business like you're going to open 10 of them. And that's where this operations manual comes, just to get everything that we do on paper and really be able to go through all the systems that it takes to run our business. So I'll share that with you guys. It'll be on the flash drive. And obviously, if you guys have any questions on it, definitely let me know. And so the one thing I really just want to leave you guys with today is, again, looking at those 5 things between the lead acquisition, the sales, the retention, the programming, everything just from top to bottom, and trying to figure out where's the missing link, what do you guys need to start attacking, what numbers do you need to look at a daily basis. Again, I'd highly recommend you don't want to wait till the end of the month to look at those numbers. Look at them on a daily basis. Have a big number board in your office so your staff can see it, and start to react to that stuff right away so that you fix stuff that day, not waiting till the end. That was a big mistake I made. I always would wait till the end of the month, and so I want to really hammer it home to you guys to look at those every day and make those decisions on a daily basis, not a monthly basis. So figure out where your weak area is and attack it on Monday. The last thing, this is just kind of a personal advice for me. Some of the best advice I've ever got from Tom has been at like 3 a.m. in the bars, and he'll tell you that we've done that a lot. So what I would say is take that as much as you can, spend time with him, ask him a lot of questions. I literally remember, for me, like going home back to my hotel at like 3 a.m., probably a little too hammered, but frantically writing down notes of all the stuff that him and I talked about, and just because there's just so much good information that you can have just sitting there and having those conversations with him. And it's been, these kind of conferences are great to go to, and you learn a lot of stuff during them, but for me, the biggest benefit in my career and the most growth I've had is just the relationships that I've been able to build with guys like him and guys like you guys too, where you can just pick your brain and talk about that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, for me, I'll go home and like frantically write down everything we talked about so that I can remember it and kind of get that ingrained and build it into how am I going to improve my business. So that's just a side note. Take advantage of that while you can, for sure. Like Justin said, ask Tom questions, take advantage of it as best you guys can. This is my information, so I got my email in there. I put my cell phone number on there. I'm transparent. I'll give you guys my cell phone number. If I can help you guys in any way possible, let me know. Email me, text me, call me, whatever. I'll always get back to you guys on a timely manner. I'm good at that. And so I'm just here to help you guys. Like I've said, I've been in your guys' shoes before. I've been, I'm not to the level of Justin and Frank and these guys yet, but I'm working my way to there. So I just appreciate all you guys, and if I can help you guys in any way, just let me know. And thank you for letting me share my story with you guys. So. Yeah, go ahead.
So the first month that you started that daily tracking,
yeah,
what was that like?
It was intense. Yeah, it was intense, but it was a game changer for me because I was seeing things in a whole different light. Like when I was doing it on a monthly basis, it only just gave me a little bit of a snapshot. I wasn't reacting up to it. I wasn't making the decisions I needed to make. So once we went to the daily, it was hard because my staff had to get used to it too, and I was probably a little bit of a dick about it. I'm like, this is what we need to do, So you just have to introduce it, and then you deal with it from there. And the same thing with the marketing. We used to only spend about $1,000 or $2,000 a month on Facebook, and Tom was hammering it home to me to spend at least $3,000 a month. And once we did that, the leads and ROI was incredible. Like it worked. So once we started doing that, it was easy for us to get the 30 leads once we committed to actually spending them on marketing.
On marketing, are you posting like boosting those posts, or you do post other things as well, or just
I mean, we go outside of that sometimes, so it's not always looking like the exact same post, but in general, we follow that principle and those things each day, just so we know, myself and my staff know what we're gonna post, so we're not trying to figure it out on a daily basis. But yeah, we stick to a lot of that. It evolves, it'll change, like as I learn new stuff from Frank and Colin and stuff, it changes. But in general, we try to stick to those kind of principles each day so that we know what we're gonna post.
And when you looked at your numbers every day the first month, were you on track?
In some areas I was, some areas I wasn't. So again, going back to those 5 things, like find out that our sales were really good, but we weren't getting enough leads in the door. And so there was stuff that was on track, but also a lot of things that weren't. And that's the stuff that we had to attack and get back on track.
I have a quick one.
Yeah.
Do you have a good, simple resource for finding new recipes?
Ooh, that's a good
People
question.
love them, but it's, just wonder where you find them, or you making them up.
I'll email you my operations manual, or my operations manager, Emily, does all of our recipe stuff. So I've never written a recipe post, so I have no idea. But I can ask her and let you know, because she finds a lot of good ones each week. So.
Okay.
So you do a post and then just boost it?
Yeah, we do six posts a week, 1 every day. We boost it for 7 days. We spend $10 a day on each post, so about $70.
But you're not going through Ads Manager and pushing
We do.
posts out
So
there?
the 8 total things, we have 6 posts going on, and then we usually have 2 ads through Ads Manager going on. One for like an evergreen, our 30-day trial, and then maybe one other one for like a 6-week or 21-day shred type of thing.
So I quit doing boosts because they weren't getting.
Well, so
Yeah,
so real quickly on that, the Ads Manager stuff is where you're directly going to get your leads. But what we've noticed, we always ask people in our consults where they come from, and we may not directly get somebody right off that recipe. But what we find is when people come and be like, "I've been seeing your stuff on Facebook every day for the last like 6 months," and they're finally at that point where they're ready to buy. Maybe they have a family reunion coming up, maybe they just got divorced or whatever. You just have to build that fence around your gym, a 10-mile radius, and just constantly hammer so they see your shit literally every single day, and then eventually
easier,
pays
right?
off.
Than writing those down.
Yeah, but you're right. You don't necessarily see the exact correlation of that and seeing the direct lead from that. But a ton of our leads that come in are like, we've seen your shit for the last 6 months and finally decided to come in. So.
Good on Dan, everybody. Give it up for Dan.